Shall we move on to the review? We've already been teasing it.
Let's do it.
Dungeon Petz, 2011 game. The designer, the amazing Vlada Chvátil. The artist is David Cochard, and the publisher is CGE Czech Games Edition. Jake, how would you describe to a person that has never set eyes upon the game? How would you describe Dungeon Petz?
Sure. I would say that Dungeon Petz is a game about buying and raising and managing and then selling monsters, basically.
Yeah.
And it's got like I think it's got like three major mechanics that I recognize. There might be more, but you've got bidding.
Yep.
Right. There's like an auction. You've got your sort of worker placement.
Absolutely.
And then you've got your, which I think what they call hand management, but it basically just means like you got cards also that you're dealing with.
Jake, you nailed it. Those are the three main. Those are the three main mechanics of the game for sure.
So how it basically works is there are people who want to buy. There's like these characters. They're all cutely drawn and everything, but there's these guys who want to buy the pets, and they have requirements like for which pet they want to buy and different points for how close you get to that. And then you basically use those three mechanics to sort of manipulate your piece. You got these goblins. I think they call them goblins. And you get
imps.
Imps, right. Imps, sorry. You get these little imps. They kind of look like these little red characters. And you basically start it by doing a bidding system where you can achieve things like getting your pen, and then getting your first baby pet, and then maybe getting its food to take care of it. You do that through the worker placement by putting these imps out on the board, but there aren't guaranteed spots for everybody. So how turn order really matters, which sort of leads into the bidding thing, which is everybody's got the same amount. I don't remember how many. Is it like 6 or 7 of these things to start off with?
We start off with 6 and then some gold.
Right. So you get these imps and this gold. And you've got, I think it's either 4 or 5 spots to put them that will say how many actions you want to take in the game, whether it be get your pen, get your monster, or get the food. I think there's like magical items that you can use as bolsters along the way as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure I'm missing a few spots on the board, but basically you do this bidding thing to see who's going to go first, but also to disperse these guys and choose how many actions you're going to take.
Precisely.
And if you balance it out right, you can walk away with enough stuff that it starts to daisy chain towards your goal, basically.
Yeah, it's almost an engine building game, but not really.
In a way, yeah, right? I mean,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I saw in the 2 plays that we did, I saw a couple of moves that felt like, not my moves, of course, but like I saw a few times when I was like, oh, well, clearly it's supposed to cascade. Like if you set it up properly, things really start to move with momentum in your favor towards selling the pet, towards raising it and taking care of it and then ultimately selling it.
Yeah, I think that's true. So there was a game that preceded this, a game called Dungeon Lords that Vlada designed. And that its design cue came from a computer game called Dungeon Master, where it was a very early video game. Many people would not know what it is, but the essential, there you go. See, the concept of that is you're the minion in the dungeon. You're the bad guy. And you're trying to design a dungeon so that the pesky adventurers that come in here aren't going to wreck the place and steal everything and kill everybody. So you are one of the, you're trying to, it's basically a tower defense sort of game where you're trying to protect your thing by getting evil creatures and traps and all that sort of stuff to keep those guys out.
That's a really cool IP. They should do like a huge thing with that. Why don't you write a huge thing with that? I would watch that.
Well, he made Dungeon Lords and it kind of crushed it. I mean, here's the thing about Dungeon Lords. It is a tougher game. It is a more complex game because of the interaction of the various elements. You have creatures that attack the adventurers that are going to come into your dungeon, but they operate at different times. Like first the traps hit, then magic hits, then people attack with swords and so on and so forth. So it's actually genius because you're designing your rooms that the adventurers are going to enter to try and game the order in which things happen in order to take the least damage and to eliminate these guys as quick as you can. So there's there's a real strategy to it. It's got a brilliant rule book in which you play 4 mini rounds of the game, and in those 4 mini rounds, it teaches you the intricacies of how these combats are resolved within this world. It is a beautiful worker placement game where you're putting out your little minions to get imps and to put the imps in different rooms to do various things. It's one of the funniest rule books you'll ever read. And Dungeon Petz also, hilarious rule book, really great sense of humor. And for somebody who English is not their first language, amazing English, like really wonderfully written.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds kind of like a D&D fantasy Saw. Like that's the movie that I think you should write about it. It's like some crazy guy is defending his dungeon with all these traps. And we get to see the adventurers chopped to pieces as they make their way through.
As best you can, right? And you're scored at the end of the game on how much of your dungeon is still intact, right? How well did you preserve that? And who did you kill? Like, did you kill the big paladin, or did you just kill a few of these guys and that stuff? Brilliant game. Wonderful. Absolutely love it. Then Dungeon Petz came out and was, by all accounts, a much bigger hit. Like, very, very, very popular. Because the fiddly stuff, the stuff that it takes, you have to play 4 mini rounds to learn how the game works, that's gone. When I teach Dungeon Petz, I teach it in one go. It takes about 20 minutes, and you get it. The game is cleaner. It's
absolutely. No, you did a great teach also for me. I mean, you said you was like, hey, look, check out the rule book first, and I did, and it was funny. Although I will say the only thing I remembered after I read it the first time was that the poop stays in the cage. And I was just like, okay, good to know. That's important. But no, I agree. You taught it, if maybe not even 20 minutes. It went really quick.
Yeah, and it's pretty great. I mean, first of all, here's one thing. So Trey and Paul both commented that the game fools you into thinking it's one kind of game, and it is not. Because when you look at the art, when you read the rules, when you look at the characters, you've got like little dungeon pets like Cthulhu. You have, Ghosty, and you've got all these great, you have, Baby Golem. Just wonderful, wonderful.
No, it's definitely art. Like My Little Pony cutesy tootsy art. And it's cool, and they're all adorable, but it's definitely belying the true complexity for sure.
Yeah, but it's a hardcore strategy game. It is.
Yeah, they might. I mean, they could put anything. They could make them look mean and evil, and it might actually feel a little bit more like what it is.
Yeah. It looks like a light, fun beer and pretzels game. It is a deep and heavy strategy game that rewards a lot of thinking and a lot of planning and really figuring out what to do. Because the way it works is you're trying to acquire pets, cages that are going to hold these pets, special artifacts that are going to give you advantages toward that, upgrades to upgrade your cages. Mm-hmm. You can go and get you have some extra imps that are going to be coming into town on the railway, and you can pick them up, but they don't all come at once, right? So little by little. There's an infirmary, because sometimes the pets are going to hurt your imps, and you might have to go to the infirmary to get them back and heal them up. And then there's a platform where you're going to be able to sell these things. And starting in round 2 or 3, there are going to be competitions, and the competitions are dealt out randomly. There's a bunch of them, and some of them are like, okay, this is a beauty contest, so we're looking for the competition is the least amount of poop in your creature's cage and the most play, right? Because these pets all want things. Each and every round of the game, they want things. And the things that they want are 4 different colors, right? There's maybe 5 different colors, but I think so. There's green. Green pets generally are eaters, so a lot of their wants are going to be, I want to eat, I want to poop, and all that kind of stuff.
Some of them are like eat meat, and some of them eat vegetables.
Exactly, and some of them are omnivorous. So those cards are gonna come into your hand, and you're going to have to meet their needs each and every round of the game. There are red cards, and those are angry guys who those cards are going to tend to be the teeth symbol, which means they're going to be aggressive, right? And
your pet is not happy.
Right. So you better have a fortified cage in order to stop them, right? In order to help them. They might have a little yellow ball of yarn symbol, which is the play symbol. And you have to keep imps back, not send them out into the worker placement area, just so you can play with your dungeon pets and keep them happy. If you don't, they become unhappy. And then there is magic. There are ones that have a tendency to do magic. Now, each one of these colors, all it means is that the cards of that color tend to be this or that, but every color has every type of need in it. So in the first round at the beginning, the baby pets draw 2 cards each turn, and you always start off with a hand of 4 cards, one of each color. When you draw those 2 cards, you are going to have to assign 2 of those. Let's suppose I have a guy that is a green and a yellow card. That's his needs.
Yep.
I have a green and yellow card at the beginning of the game because I have 1 card of each color. And then I get another green and yellow card. And I have to decide which green and which yellow I'm going to put next to the cage to indicate these are the needs of the pet this round. And then I have to meet those needs. If it's poop, I don't have to do anything. There's just going to be poop in the cage. No big deal. If it's food, I'd better have gone to a space to get food. If I don't, that animal is going to be unhappy. It's going to get an unhappiness cube, a nice black cube that's going to tell everybody that I'm a bad dungeon pet owner. Right?
You're not feeding your pets, Tom. It's not nice.
No. But here's the thing, okay? At the end of this round, these pets are going to grow. They're going to age. They're going to get older. Yeah. And as they get older, guess what? Now they got 4 needs.
Yeah.
Turn after that, they got 5, 6 needs. They got 7.
You got to take them to the Gap and buy them a whole new wardrobe before the new school year.
Oh, my God. They need so many things. But here's the thing. You want that. Even though it's hard as heck to keep them satisfied and to take care of all these needy little jerks, you want them on that wall. No, you want them to be needy, because eventually the dungeon lords are going to show up and they're going to want to buy some of your creatures. And not only that, but the contests that these creatures are entered in are going to be able to score so many more points when there are more needs to be met, because it's going to be like, okay, we want the most aggressive pet. The most aggressive pet is going to win this contest. Well, guess what? If I can put out 5 teeth cards, 5 aggression cards, I'm going to get a ton of points for that competition, right? And what if the dungeon lord is also valuing that? The dungeon lord wants that as well. You can sell these pets to a dungeon lord and clean up. Because you can get sometimes upwards of 30 points if you can really max out and match the needs that the dungeon lord has for your particular pet. So
but you had to have made quite a few smart moves along the way to achieve that.
Exactly, because it's
you can't fall backwards into that. Or anyway, I didn't.
No, it's risk and reward, right?
Yeah.
It's to play the game at its best. You want to have older pets that have lots and lots of needs, which is tough to manage, and there's all sorts of ways that it can go wrong, but that's also the way to score the most points in the game. So it's a brilliant game. So when we talked about it like an engine builder, it almost is, except you're never really building an engine so much as trying to stay balanced on a beach ball that is the needs of these incredibly complicated pets that you're never quite sure what's coming next from them, right?
Yeah. You're spinning lots of plates, and you know what? I had a couple of pets die. Like, my pets died. Sorry, they did. I didn't feed them right, or they got sick somehow. I didn't clean out their cages or something. I was busy doing something else, so it can happen.
Yeah, I lost one pet. It was Ghosty, and I was super sad. I mean, I love Ghosty. He's such a sweet little guy, you know.
The art really is adorable. I got to say, they did a really good job.
They really did. It's gorgeous, right?
They really did. They're cute little monsters.
And the 3 aspects that Jake expertly broke down for you. The fact that it is a bidding game, that it is a worker placement game, and that it is a hand management game, they go together in a way that I've never seen any other game do.
It really works well. I mean, yeah, I agree. It's cool that they were able to just mix them all in, and it plays totally like once you get the idea of what's happening, which took me a little longer than the rest. It makes sense that they mesh those together.
In particular, the bidding and worker placement combination, where I have 8 imps at this point in the game, right? I can put 6 imps in one space and 2 in another. I could put 5 in one space and 3 in another. I could put 2, 2, 2, and 2 in 4 different spaces. And those are all valid, and all of those are bids, because what's going to happen is whoever put the most imps plus gold, because gold is the same as an imp in terms of bidding.
For bidding.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever put the most imps in one little bucket and one little exit is going to be able to go first. And they're going to be able to, they're basically bid to go first and grab the best thing. And then the next person goes.
The more you put in your bid depletes how many different moves you can make that time.
Exactly. So the person that went 2, 2, 2, 2, right? And that's the way they did it. They may not go for the first 5 actions. There may be 5 actions gone by the time it gets to them. But they've got 5, as long as they are okay with not having this or this or this, they might do great by getting way more than the other players.
It's possible. I mean, right, there's this balance, because if you don't go first, all the stuff you want moves to get will be gone. So you kind of have to sit right in the cut. Make sure if not first place, you get at least a chance at buying something. And it's sometimes better to take less moves and at least get the one thing you needed to move your engine along.
Exactly. And the game is designed so that if there are 4 players, there are 3 spaces to get pets in a round. If there are 3 players, there are 2 spaces to get pets in a round. And there are only 2 spaces to get a cage in a given round. So everything is it is designed perfectly to have the things that you want scarce and difficult.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little bit of musical chairs.
Yeah, very much so. And we've discovered that if you don't get a pet in the first round, you are behind the 8 ball, but it's not the kiss of death. It's not game over for you.
You have to be really good, though, to dig yourself out of that hole. Like a beginner like myself, I made that mistake. And if I'm not mistaken, we restarted, because you're like, you can't come back from that unless you really know what you're doing.
Well, you didn't get a creature or a cage. I think
totally, at that time I was still sort of realizing that the balance between bidding and moving, and things available to me, I hadn't grokked it yet. And
no, you did the thing where you did 2.
I wasted 2 moves.
Yeah, you did 2 and 2 and 2, and by the time it got to you, there was
nothing.
The big things were gone. Exactly.
Yeah, and then I was just behind by so much. But maybe you could come back. I'm not even sure how you would do that. But
I think that if you don't get a creature in the first round, but you do get a cage, and maybe you upgrade that cage, or maybe you get the artifacts that are going to benefit.
Then you're set. Then you're at least set for the next round when you could get a guy.
Yeah. It's like I've built a great place for creatures to come. I just didn't get the creature this round. I think that's perfectly valid.
And we didn't mention, it's not like the cages go away; they're permanent.
Correct.
You can once, even after you sell your pet, you can still use it for the next one.
And to have brown cubes, which for time immemorial have always been wood, to have them represent monster poop, and to have to at some points in the game leave imps behind just to shovel that poop out of there, I think is so. It tickles me. Am I juvenile? Probably, but it's very amusing and very cute.
I told Logan, because he always asked, "What did you play?" He's very interested, and I told him all about it. And when I got to the part with the poop, he thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard in his life. He said, "Daddy, you played a game where there's poop in the game?" It was like head explode. It was amazing.
It is. It's really. It's a cute. The creatures are cute. The poop mechanism is cute, but the the decision space is so tough. It's like I'm looking at the dungeon lord that's going to come out in round 3, and I'm looking at these creatures, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I think this creature more than the other ones is going to match up well with that guy. But if I get that, I bid in such a way that I'm not going to be able to go until it could be that all the cages are gone by the time it gets back to me. And what do I do? What's the best choice I can make? It really is a kind of a brutal strategy game when you get right down to it, because everyone is just trying to keep these sweet little monsters alive, and and guess what? We all can't.
No, it's a little cutthroat. It's true. There was a couple of times I'm pretty sure that Paul did a move just to F with you.
Oh no,
like,
completely.
To no benefit of his engine at all. He was just like, "Oh, were you going to go there? Oh yeah, I thought you were. Oh, too bad."
Listen, as we all say around the table, hey, Paul got a Paul. Okay, it's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Funny.
That's all right. I just go back then and listen to him describing what he thinks his table image is, and just laugh. I just laugh. It's just.
It was so much fun playing with you guys. Half of it was just the banter. Honestly, it's really hilarious.
So good, so good. So our review of Dungeon Petz is what would you say, Jake? Big thumbs up.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's good even if you're a casual gamer. It may take you a second to get how the 3 different mechanics sort of blend and start to feel like you could actually get a pet all the way to the guy, but I totally recommend it. I wonder, I think it might be, I don't know. I bet you there's some people who think it's a little too light for like people of your caliber, Tom, but
I don't think
for me it was very tough. Like I enjoyed it, but it was very tough, but I would definitely recommend it.
I don't think it is light at all. I mean,
you don't? I felt like at one point Paul was kind of feeling like it was that he didn't feel, I don't know, that was the vibe I got, but you would know better.
Well, Paul was like, well, I don't know, I felt like I was out of it at round 2. And I don't know if he was. Maybe he was, but he felt like he was, right? And you can be. The game is rather unforgiving if you don't make optimum choices.
Yeah.
So
you can wipe out pretty quick.
So it could be that you wipe out, or can you really? Or do you still have it? I think Trey and I did really well in the second game. Paul did amazingly well in the first game. So we did have a situation in which there was a fairly decent gulf between the winners and the next
team. An honorable mention to myself tooting my own horn from first game to second game.
Yes.
I actually sold a pet in the second game, whereas in the first game it was just I was stumbling through.
Yeah, no, second game you played a firmly reasonable, and you could hold your head high with your performance in the second game. Your monsters were happy; they loved you dearly, and you sold them. You sold them to horrible creatures.
And they're all going to get killed by paladins,
and they will get killed by paladins. Yeah. But your branding was good. Your branding was good. For me, I think the interesting thing about the game is the disconnect between the theme and the artwork, and the rulebook and the play, because it is a relatively unforgiving, deeply thoughtful, tough strategy game. Bidding can be tough for a lot of people, right? Because bidding is very, I'm taking the thing you need. You can't take it now. And getting this hand of cards and needing to fulfill 6 needs of this creature and 5 needs of this other creature, and realizing as you look at the cards, there is no way that this ends well. Horrible cards have come to me, and bad things are about to happen. And what should I have done instead? Oh, 2 turns ago, I should have made a different move, right? So it is one of those things that I do think it's a really good game, but I'm not sure it is for the casual gamer. I'm not sure if it is. You're a special casual gamer, Jake. You're not.
I guess I'm so close to you guys, and I get an interesting take on it because of that.
Yeah, but I think that the game is a little mean.
Well, I mean, I wonder if they made it look like that so that you like it was being mean. Like you just feel like, oh, I guess I messed it up. But
maybe,
look, so cute.
But I definitely don't. I wouldn't. This wouldn't be a game that I would bring out and try with people that are just getting into games, because It's a little on the mean side, and I would keep to things that are a little calmer, a little kinder.
Do you think this would ever come out at our table?
Yes, I listen. I want to play Dungeon Lords tomorrow. I really enjoy. I think Vlada is one of those designers that is just an amazing designer. I mean, the guy who did this also designed code names. He's there's so many interesting things that this guy has designed. He really is. We don't really talk about him in the same breath as we talk about Uwe Rosenberg, but this guy designed Through the Ages, one of the best strategy games of all time. He designed Codenames, one of the best party games of all time. He designed Dungeon Petz. He designed Galaxy Trucker. What can't this guy do? It's like I'd say choose a lane, but no, I don't want you to choose a lane. You're crushing everything you're doing. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so I just say keep doing what you're doing, Vlada. We're big fans here at Game Brain for sure.
For sure.
Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.